Okay. Welcome back, guys. I'm your co-host, Liv.
And I'm Rachel, your other co-host. And it's been a minute.
For us, yeah.
And it's about to be another week where we're away from each other.
Yes, because you're going to freaking Cabo.
We're going to Cabo.
And I just got back from Mexico and I'm still jealous.
Well, I hope your trip was good. I know we'll discuss it another time. But did you feel like you were able to relax a little bit and get some sun?
You know, I did. So like we went to an all-inclusive just for 2 nights and it felt like, I don't know, we were like, damn, we should like add another night. You know what I mean? And then when we got down there, it's like when you're just 2 people and you're only going to one place, it's like, it's actually fine. Like we've gone before where we've been at all-inclusive, like with family and with friends or like had excursions booked. Then you need time, but like when you're just there just to relax and like enjoy and hang out with like your one person, it's like it's not like, oh my god, I got sick of him and I had to be home. It's like I could hang out with him forever always, but like 2 nights was enough. It was good. So like it was just a quick little bounce down to it, but yeah, we were really happy about it.
Okay, good. The weather was clearly very nice. It looked amazing there.
It's beautiful.
I kept trying to like look at all your stories. I'm like, can you post more, Liv, so I can like stalk you?
But
I
literally was in my head, I was like, fuck, I need to be like posting more about this. But I don't know. I am so like at an all-inclusive resort, like leave my phone in the room and just dick around.
You guys
out and about
should,
in the world
because you guys are both on all the time with what you do for work, and you work from home too sometimes. So I feel like leaving it and just, you know, disconnecting for a little bit is so necessary.
Even though I was still all up in my own emails, all about my wedding madness, but we'll get to that.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Because we all know how crazy that can be.
Literally insane. But so you got back from France fill us in.
It's been a whirlwind. When you have your first kid, when they first get sick and they're first going through things, it's way more concerning, I imagine, than when it's like your second or third or whatever kid you're on, because it's the first time you're going through it all. So you're like, I know this is normal, but like, holy cow, like I've never had to deal with this before, taking care of someone else and like not fully knowing answers. And then, you know, thank God we have a great pediatrician that we can like is basically on call. So
yeah, I was gonna say, because we left off last episode with Lucia had a fever.
Aww.
And you guys were getting ready to head to France. So
little Lucia, she had a fever, and for about 3 consecutive days she was throwing up just like once a day.
So it was not 24 hours like we had said. Just
no,
give her
it
the
wasn't.
day.
Unfortunately not. When we were driving up to Chicago, because we were leaving out of Chicago, and staying with my in-laws, she got sick in the car after a bottle and threw up all over herself and like all over the car seat. And we were only like, I think an hour into the drive. So we had to pull over at a gas station. We had to change her. We had to try and, you know, clean up the car seat. And at that point I'm like, well, she can't sit in her nasty car seat now because it's got throw up everywhere. It reeks. Like it was just not what we expected. And then we got there, we spent the night with the in-laws, and then the next day we had her nap before our flight, which was leaving in the evening. And as we're like getting her ready to go and leaving to go to the airport, she throws up again, like everywhere. And at that point it was just like, crap, like what do we do?
Like your literally bags are in the car, like on your way out of the door.
We had to go, like we were waiting till the last minute to go so she could get like a full nap in,
right?
And at that point I'm like, our flight's gonna leave, like we have this flight, and Luke says, my husband says, we should reschedule the flight, because he's like,
can you even do that close to when the flight's leaving?
By the grace of God and by whatever voodoo magic he has with Delta Airlines and status he has, yes.
We
were able to reschedule. We had to reschedule it for 2 days later. And
was that just like the next flight? 2 days?
No, he was just like,
you wanted to give it time.
Yeah, he was just like, Rachel, we cannot be on a flight, have her throw up, like she needs rest. Like, think about that. That would be terrible. Then everyone's gonna smell it. Like it's not fair to her. It's not fair to anyone. And
so
it's just
what
like
leg of your trip did you miss out on?
like the first couple days. So obviously, right? Because it was delayed. But I was the one that was like, do we still go? Like, you're just emotional. Well, no, like, do we still try and make the flight?
Right.
And you're just emotional. Like, it's going to see my family, and like, you know, there's stuff that's been planned. And as a people pleaser, like, this is terrible, but like, I feel I'm like suddenly worried about what other people are going to think, which shouldn't matter at all. And everyone's super understanding. It's family. But it just like took me a moment to be like I just kind of broke down, because I was like, it's been 4 days now. She's just been, you know, sick. We don't totally know what's going on. And then the flight, like, it's just travel and your first kid getting sick and everything. So, anyway, so we delayed the flight. Thank God we did, because she was doing much better, except things started coming out the other end.
Wow. So I hope nobody's eating listening to this right now.
Yeah, don't eat and listen to this, because it just keeps getting more exciting.
That's a way to put it.
The flight itself was an overnight flight, so she slept the entire time, which was fantastic. She didn't wait. Like, she was just a doll.
So much better than your Florida flight.
Yeah. And so, which makes sense now that she was so agitated, because she was actually probably sick coming home from Florida.
Yeah, no, she was like actually sick.
And now we know. But so it's like she sleeps the entire flight. The last 30 minutes, like, we're on the descent, and she poops. And like, these poops were really bad smelling. So like, we had to change her immediately. So Luke goes and changes her, brings her back within 5 minutes again. And I'm like, well, maybe we just wait, because at this point it's like, you know, your seatbelts have to be on. You can't really be using the bathroom. We're going to land. But the fact that some people were like
looking at you,
turning and being
like, you are like
what is that smell? I was like, fuck. Like, okay, I'm going to have to go change.
Especially like the people pleaser in you. It's like the peer pressure, everyone's eyes just glaring at you.
I was like, maybe we can wait. But honestly, it was so bad. I'm like, we can't. Like, we actually can't. So I had to go change her. And as I'm changing the diaper and stuff, mind you, like, she's only been on milk for the past few days. So there shouldn't be anything in her poop aside from what she's been eating, like her milk, which is a pretty, you know, you get to know what those look like. I open the diaper and I'm like, something's off here. Something doesn't look right here. Like, what is all this stuff
literally,
in here?
like, stuff. I thought she'd like eaten like a paperclip or something when you were telling me this. I was like,
that would be a different story.
I don't know.
Holy
I was
cow.
like, I mean, her stomach hurts and then something comes out the other end.
True.
It's like, what did she eat? You know?
So bunch of stuff. I'm like investigating. The flight attendants start knocking on the door, being like, you know,
get out.
We're landing here. And
you're like, I am handling my daughter. You can
I'm
wait.
like, what the fuck? Do I save this diaper to show Luke? I'm like, I can't. I have to throw it away. Let's move on.
What did you see?
Well, I'm gonna get there. I run back to my seat with her. I sit down and I just turn to Luke and I'm like, Luke, I think there's bugs in her poop. I think there's like, I was like, I think I saw a bug and I think there's worms and I don't know how to handle this. And Luke's like very dismissive about it, because he's like, no, babe, like, I'm sure it's fine.
He's
like,
literally like,
he's like,
just because this can't be happening, just because what would we do?
Yeah. And he's just like, no, I'm sure it's okay. Like, she's acting totally normal. Okay. We eventually get to our hotel. We're in Paris. We have 3 nights in Paris. And so we get to the hotel and whatever, kind of go about the day trying to adjust and get things settled in. And she has another poop, in which now Luke can actually see what's going on in here. And he looks up and he's like, oh shit, those look like worms. I'm like, I fucking told you. I was like, I don't know what it is. Never had to deal with this before. But we need to like get our pediatrician like on a FaceTime call right now. We're sending him photos right now.
It's like, is that normal for kids? Because like, I don't feel like it's
apparently.
extremely normal.
It's extremely, not only is it normal for kids,
like I've never
it's
had
normal.
worms.
It's that's good, but it's also normal for adults to have parasites.
Like, we wouldn't know.
You wouldn't necessarily know. Some people have gut issues and don't realize they're dealing with parasites. But
it sounds so crazy because it's disgusting.
I know, it sounds disgusting. It sounds like the nastiest thing in the world. But apparently other countries, including France, so like my mom's told me this since day one, but a lot of other countries do like twice a year parasite cleanses to like get rid of anything in their, like, it's just a very normal
So like
practice.
a juice cleanse?
No, it's just like I think Paragard or something. Like, it's just like a pill you
It's
take.
literally called Paragard.
I
That's
think it's
hilarious.
yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Oh my God, wait.
So you take a
sounds
pill
so
to
dumb.
get rid of anything, if there is anything.
This sounds so dumb, but like obviously with having a dog now, we have to give her heartworm medicine once a month.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'm like, oh my God, we need the human
We don't
version
have
of
heartworm.
this. Not heartworm, but like gut worms.
if she has anything like a feces, like
Why
it's
do they prepare
easily
dogs better
transferable.
than us?
I don't know.
Like
But
nobody's ever told me, hey, you should maybe de-parasite yourself
Yes.
just as like
There's-
a be safe kind
go
of
to
a thing.
CVS or Walgreens. There's a whole section there for it, and they're like,
If this was a thing that like people of the world know about and I just somehow missed out on, sorry, but if not, PSA everyone, go take a dewormer.
go take a dewormer. I'm not even kidding you. And you might not have anything, but you actually might, and at least you can like get it. Because think about it, if you
deworm.
eat organic, if you eat from a garden, like they're in a lot of organic foods. They're in your garden. Like a lot of it's pretty normal.
The classic worm digging through the apple.
But then there's other cases where, I don't know, maybe your dog has something or your cat has, like, it's weird to think about, but some are obviously a little bit more invasive than others.
So I'm apparently going to go order Paragard.
Yeah.
So
It's not a bad idea.
thanks, Lucia, for bringing us all this learning moment. Honestly.
I know. I was like, I hate
Poor
to
baby
expose
girl.
her, but I honestly think that some people might benefit from hearing this, and it's probably very relatable to other parents, maybe.
We hope.
Yeah, I hope I wasn't lied to. But yeah, so that was it's just gross. And then we had to deworm too, because obviously it's very transferable from people. We think she maybe got it from the sand in Florida.
Maybe. I mean, babies eat everything.
They
That's
eat
why
everything.
it's like, what did she
That's
eat? Like, you wouldn't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, it's really bizarre, because we're just like, we don't know where it's from.
That's why you need to borrow my steam mop, because you would like it, because you don't have to use chemicals for your
I'll take
toddler.
it home.
Like,
I'm gonna take it home with me.
there you
today.
go. Okay, yeah, I'll
You
give
got
you.
it.
Yeah, I do, and I've got nice fresh like steam
Yeah.
mop pads for it. Because what I like about that is it kills bacteria with the hot, like
Yeah.
the heat of the steam, so you don't have your kid or like your pet like digging their nose in a bunch of chemicals.
Yes, no, that helps. I'm all about that. We're all about that.
So I was like, you're gonna like it.
I am not a germ freak, but at this point now I'm like,
Maybe
worms have changed the game a little bit. You know, you're just, it's just not quite.
it does make you think a little differently about it.
Yeah.
I actually am a bit of a germ freak, if you ask Hayden.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted.
I mean, like, I'm not a germ freak in the sense of like, okay, if someone has a cold or sick, I'm just
Okay.
like, if I get that, like, I'll be fine.
Understood.
But at the house, I'm like, no, things have to be sanitized. Like, I don't want a nasty, grody house.
I can like, no, 1000%. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it because again, I'm not a parent, but I have 4 baby nephews, you guys, and there's 4 under 3, so they're all, you know, their own breed of like hard to keep it clean. And I'm like, if I have a tissue, I can go in, I can get their nose. If I don't have a tissue, no, I'm not on that level.
Yeah.
It's gonna hang.
It's gonna hang there. Use your shirt, kid.
I'm literally whatever you got, you sleeve it up. Like, I don't know. I'm not getting in there. I'm not that level. Their mom will. My sister can, but that's because she's their mom.
How are they doing with the youngest one now?
They all call him Hungry. His name is Henry, so they call him Hungry.
Hungry.
There's Hungry. He's
sweet.
so cute. And then I will like tell them, I'll be like, oh, would you give Henry a kiss? And they'll like suffocate him basically in kisses, you know, because they'll grab him so hard, and like he's a newborn, so he's literally just like looking at them
how
like
old is he
shocked.
now? Almost 2 months?
Almost 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah, almost 3 months. And yeah, so I mean, I think the boys are mostly unbothered by him. James, the oldest, he'll like to hold him,
Yeah.
you know, and but honestly, he sleeps for the most part, or then he's crying, and he was crying on like they drove up to Chicago recently, and all the boys apparently were just, you know, notifying my sister like, Hungry's crying, Hungry's crying.
Oh, so she had a weekend like alone for a little bit, or
No, I don't remember what they were up in Chicago for, but
All of
they
them were.
they were
Okay.
up with all the boys, and yeah, no, so he's good, and they're doing good, and they're really cute. and I don't think they really like realize what he is yet. And it's kind of funny because Henry, being the youngest of four, I think he's just like not all that interested in them right now. You know, I mean, he's literally like, he wants nobody but his mother, and I'm like, I'm your off-brand mom. I'm like close. I'm just not exactly your mom. It
I'm
worked
like
with the
DNA.
twins when they were just happy to get attention. But no, not Henry. He's like, I see through your bullshit, lady. I want my mom, and that's it. So
Boys are funny.
That's where he's at.
Boys are funny. I've heard a lot about how they require different attention growing up. Like their learning is way different than girls learning when they're little kids.
Are you thinking about this a lot lately because you don't know if you're having a boy or a girl?
No, it's just my entire Instagram feed is like catered to kids, and I'm like, I hate that it is, but it is what it is now. So like here we are. But yeah, apparently a lot of little boys get misdiagnosed for ADHD because their learning style as little boys like requires a ton of like moving around and going outside and lots of playtime. And when you're in a classroom all day, then a lot of teachers are, not to throw teachers under the bus, but a lot of people will be like, they have ADHD or like they have a problem, let's put them on medication because they can't sit still. And it's like, well, it's very normal that they can't sit still.
When you're comparing to a little girl who literally would be so happy to just sit and like color, it is a big difference.
Yeah. So interesting fact there that I learned. But
question for you: do you guys have names picked out?
Yes, we finally got a name for a girl. If we have a girl, as of a week ago, we've been going back and forth a lot. Sienna.
I didn't know you were gonna share it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I just dropped the bomb right there.
Share everything too.
I'm like, I don't care.
Sienna, Lucia, and Sienna.
Yeah.
I love it.
Really? Thanks.
Yes, because I like that they both have this, but like in a different location, and they end in the A, so they sound good together. Like Lucia, Sienna.
Yeah.
They sound
that
really
took a
good
long
together.
Time to figure out. But,
how did you come up with that?
I think my mother-in-law had sent me a video of like all these unique Italian or like unique names.
Right, because Lucia is kind of Italian too, right?
Lucia is Italian, yeah.
Is there a reason you didn't go French?
It's just names you like, you know. I mean, I looked at French names and none of them I really liked. It's French and English. Like it can be.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Named my brother and I names that could be in both languages. So that's how she did it. Because obviously family's there.
Yeah.
But Sienna with a C. Sienna. Sienna? Is that how you spell it? Sienna.
You can spell it however the fuck you want. It's your kid.
That's true. But I'm like, is it C-E-I? No, C-I-E.
Well, you and Luke can talk about that one. Get that one determined later.
I'm just like, wait, how do you, like Vienna, you know?
Yeah.
But not the city.
Vienna, but Sienna. Wait, so your mother-in-law sent you, so that's Italian? Sienna?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just like a unique name that you can do.
I tagged you in that one Instagram account called Names by Steph or Names with Steph.
Oh, yeah.
I love her page. I'm so entertained by it. She'll do names by themes and stuff. I love it.
It's really exciting. It's really fun to look at. It's really complicated too because it's just like.
I was gonna say, do you feel the pressure?
You feel the pressure to have both names if you don't know what kid you're having, like what gender you're having when you're going in. So it's just like, by the off chance we have another girl, I'll be shocked. But like, we need a name. So I can't just
shocked. Like you really think it's a boy at this
girl.
point.
Yeah.
Because of like your
I had
pregnancy.
A dream that I had the baby and it was a girl and I was shocked. So,
I don't know. So it's your subconscious telling you that you'd be shocked.
We'll see what happens and what it is. And
do you have her middle name? If it's a her,
yes. If it's a boy or a girl, it's Eve, Yves, and it's my grandpa's name.
Right.
Which
Very
I think
French.
is really pretty.
It is really pretty.
Sienna Eve.
Or
Callum Eve.
Yes, that's the boy name.
Yves Saint
That
Laurent.
one I knew.
Yeah.
Callum.
Yeah.
How did you guys pick that one?
That one's that's like English name, but I just kind of liked it. I don't know. We just both kind of liked it and it was unique enough and
because that one you probably had before Lucia too.
Yeah. Well, we had them both at the same time because we're like, if we have one or the other. So we just kept it. We're pretty straightforward and pretty simple with things, I think. But yeah, some people hide the name. Some people don't want to share the name.
Well, I get it because they don't want people's opinions.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's some people that are opinionated as fuck and I don't understand it with names. when we said
family members, I think like are the ones that are more outspoken.
Yeah. Do you have names in your head of like?
Oh yeah, me and Hayden, we've got 4 kids planned out. We got 2 boys and 2
do you
girls.
think you'll have 4 kids?
I don't think we'll have 4 kids. We have
if you
options.
do, then I'm gonna have 4 kids.
Okay, well
So
then
they can all hang
hang
out.
on, maybe.
Okay.
But, like,
TBD, guys.
TBD, we have we're negative right now, all right? But yeah, we have 4 picked out because you need the backup plan for like, okay, when you're on the second kid, what if it's the same gender?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you have. No, that's true. Do you want to share them?
no.
Okay.
I also am like, I don't know, we're kind of wishy-washy on the second girl name. Again, we have time. It's just really fun to talk about.
It's so fun to talk about.
I love it. My one friend, she was so struggling with her second son. She didn't know like what she was going to name him, and I'm gonna share. I mean, she has 3 boys now. So her oldest is Ashton, and then her second son, they weren't sure what to name him. And I was shopping with her at the store, and I was all like, "Well, me and my mom actually already picked out what your baby boy's name is gonna be," because she had a girl name in mind.
Yeah.
And her girl name started with an A, and so she didn't mean to do all A's because her oldest was Ashton. And she was like, but she wanted to save it because she planned on having 3. So she's like, if my next one's a girl, I'm saving that name. So she was thinking, maybe I do A's now. And they couldn't decide on anything. And this was like, what was it? Like, I don't know. I don't remember how many years ago it was now. 3, 4. And I was shopping with her and I was like, oh, me and my mom picked out your second son's name. And she's like, do tell. Like, what is it going to be? And I told her, I was like, it's Archer. She named her baby Archer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she did. Me and my mom were right.
Ashton, Archer. So what's the third one?
Atlas. She ended up having 3 boys.
Atlas.
So she didn't end up getting to use her girl name. But
What's
hey,
her girl
you never
name?
know. I'm not going to share in case she ends up still going
okay.
for baby number 4 and gets a girl. But yeah, so it was just really fun because I'm all like, I helped.
That's really pretty. Those are unique. Like, I love unique names that you don't hear often.
She texted her husband that name and he responds with, I don't hate it. And we were
Don't
both like,
hate it. Luke tried to get me on Lorenza. And I was like, for a
Lucia and Lorenza.
For a split second when we were in France dining and eating cheese and drinking wine, I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. And then like 12 minutes later, I'm like, absolutely not.
Because you could be your little like Lori, I guess.
Not that there's anything wrong with Lorenza. It's just not my pick for my
It's
child.
a little close to Lucia and Lorenza.
Yeah. So Lucia, when I was first telling people this one girl was because we were going to say Lucia.
Right. When she was
And
born,
this
I
one
wasn't
girl-
sure because people were saying Lucia and Lucia, and I was like,
Yeah.
Rachel, which is it?
No, it can be anyone.
You told me either.
I know.
I was like, it's your
We
child.
say Lucia. Sometimes we say Lucia. Sometimes we say
Okay.
Lucia, depending. Like,
Yeah.
But obviously, with the spelling in America, like everyone's going to say Lucia.
For the most part,
Yeah.
probably.
But when initially I was like, oh yeah, I like the name Lucia, and this one girl was just like, ew, Lucia, that sounds like gooch. Like, you can't name your child Lucia. And I was just like,
No, people are going to
I
have
was like,
something to say.
excuse me? I was like, seriously?
That's dramatic.
I'm like, it sounds like a you problem. It doesn't sound like a me problem. It sounds like something's wrong with you if you're going to think that.
You're so good to say that, though, because I know so many people who would be swayed. And, like, somebody is going to find something to say about any name that you pick out ever. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if your kid is gonna be made fun of, like their kids are gonna find a creative way.
Yeah.
I remember we were standing in line one time with some friends, and they told us that a girl name that they liked was. This is so funny. I was with my fiance Hayden, and so they told us their girl name was Emlyn. And Hayden immediately goes, Emlyn the Gremlin.
Oh no, Hayden.
I don't think it's on their list anymore. I don't. He
Emlyn
wasn't
the
exactly
Gremlin.
thinking. He just said it, and it's like, again though, like you're gonna find something to say any name under the sun.
There can be, yeah. There's definitely some that are a little more out there to do that with. But Jesus Christ, Emlyn the Gremlin.
Emlyn the Gremlin. I was like, you just did that, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. This came from a girl too. The one that was making fun of Lucia, from someone who's like too scared to have kids and like doesn't want kids. So I'm like, why
You're
would
like,
I
what do you
take?
have to say about my child's namings?
But this makes me think of something else. So Luke and I have, like, I love listening to his friends tea about their friends.
Nice.
Like I literally ran into the house yesterday because like he was on the phone and I like heard something. And I was like,
what's the tea?
What's the tea? And mind you, like this other guy has his fiance on the phone too. Like, you know, it's just like a whole,
Like,
it's a
you
group
know,
chat.
everyone's there. Yeah.
But essentially the conversation was about friends that, you know, you went to college with, you've all been like a group of people, like you're friends with, but you'll start to notice as you get older, there are some that decide to stay in college or like decide to stay in this era that everyone else is outgrowing and not quite there yet. And I'm just curious if you have any examples or like if you know of anyone, because you have a vast group of friends.
I feel
not
like
to call anyone out, but
No.
like, are you seeing that there's a lot of you that are like moving on and moving forward in life, and there's some that are just like totally not with it, like they're just not.
It completely depends. Like I have friends who've been married for years and like you wouldn't think they were married, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like they're not moving on, they're not having kids, they're not going and like doing that stuff that's not on their radar.
Yeah.
I've got friends who have been dating 10 years and like to mention an engagement's terrifying.
Yeah.
And of course then at the same time I've got friends who are completely settled down.
Yeah.
And like I feel like this past year in a big way was a massive like shift of mine and my fiance's life of kind of like, all right, like moving our lives forward to like these kinds of next chapters where we're much farther away from those kinds of like college party phases. And actually it's so ironic that you mentioned this, but hold on.